Welcome to the first vlog of the year. I look like absolute crap, but that's okay. I'm gonna get a haircut soon, finally. And I'm currently walking up a hill with a pillow. You don't see that every day, right? So even if I'm just gonna be talking and looking rubbish, at least there's something interesting for you to see. All right. Whoa, look at that. Anyway, it's going to be a shorter video, and what I want to talk to you about is the power of just making decisions. It sounds really obvious. Probably heard this bits and bobs of this many times in different ways from different places, but I think it takes a lot of experience and reflectedness, basically, to really understand and realize just how powerful it is to make decisions immediately and effectively and fearlessly. Because how many of us tend to just postpone decisions that we're kind of scared about, or where we think like, maybe information's missing, but really you know that that information is not going to come in time, and you just have to make the decision, take a leap of faith. And you are probably also very familiar with to-dos piling up because you postpone them, or because it's a chain of to-dos and you don't want to do the first one, so you can't do the other ones, that sort of thing. But most of us don't really think about how the same can happen with decisions, and just how incredibly impactful it is, and therefore also how incredibly impactful it can be in the other direction when you just make the decision and see where it goes. So I've been realizing this in every aspect of my life, because I've always been a very decisive person, I would say, but in a very atypical way of often deciding for many things at once, and being aware, okay, this is gonna, of course, split up my energy. And I've talked about this before. I'm often okay with the prospect of things going more slowly in exchange for variety, being able to have more things, or situations, or people in my life, or places. And now I've been realizing that in this complexity were hidden decisions that I hadn't made. And when I made these decisions, it felt so relieving. It totally compensated for the scariness of it and for the uncertainty. And just taking that first step was so empowering. And you realize that all of these pieces just fall into place. It's like a domino effect. Let me see if I can try to give you a concrete example. So if I don't know whether I'm just have to watch where I go. If I don't know whether I'm going to be living in a certain way or another, like what kind of diet I'm gonna have. Am I gonna do keto, or am I gonna be vegan? You just cannot combine these two, and until you don't know, you're just gonna end up sort of eating whatever, and the net result will be unhealthier than if you'd picked either of the two, right? So there are some things that you can straddle, like I can be a freelancer and a student and have a part-time fixed job position. But for example, I can't simultaneously say I would like to be monogamous and polyamorous. That's something I've talked about in the past. Relationship models. You can have some sort of in-between, but then that requires very extensive, frequent, intense communication. And so if you care about efficiency like I do, you're probably be better off at one end or the other. And all of the time that I've spent either straddling two compatible things or just being in limbo between two mutually exclusive things has just been very unproductive and very stressful. Also, a lot of people will recommend that you sleep on decisions, so sleep a night on it and then make the decision the next day when you're fresh. And sometimes that's a good idea, but sometimes it's actually not. Because frequently your first instinct will be your intuition speaking, and your intuition, you could define it non-spiritually as being your subconscious mind, which is aware of a lot more things than you are, and which sees all the patterns and knows yourself because it is kind of your deep self. And so I guess I found that the wisest thing to do is to always check your state when making a decision. Am I really excited right now? Am I in some sort of high or extra low energy state? Or am I kind of in my average and thinking clearly? Because if you are, then just go with your gut decision. And yeah, if you're in some sort of elevated or low state, then write down what your gut decision is and check against that the next day. And then just do it. Don't wait a freaking week or month like so many of us do. That's also something I've learned. And even in relationships, I've realized that in some of my longest, most meaningful ones, we spent either a lot of time or sometimes even all of it struggling to really decide on each other. And that's one of the most tragic things, I think, that you can have. It's the stuff that love stories are made of. And it just sucks. Why not have a simple, happy life when it's so easy? If you're with someone where it's working, in whichever constellation, then just choose them. I don't mean necessarily over others. In non-monogamy, you can choose various people, a certain number of people, and still this choosing is like taking a step towards committing, towards a middle ground, towards safety and closeness and security. And I know that's a very scary step for people of any type of relationship model sometimes, but it's so rewarding. Just do it. I guess it's today's motto. Right. That's, by the way, also how I manage, as people often ask me, to live such a crazy life with moving so much and switching jobs or juggling various jobs and things like that. It's because I run my analysis. If it makes rational sense and it feels good and it aligns with my values, I take it. Now I've started to pay even more attention to checking in with my capacity as well, not to overwhelm myself. But I mean, why wait? Why not take it? You know, people say, oh, that'll be too stressful for me. Like, yeah, okay, but look at what you're missing out on. I guess it's personal preference. Do you prefer the stress of, the strain of things like physical stress or heartache or loss or newness and discomfort? Are you going to go with avoiding that, or are you going to go with reaping the benefits that you will get if you're able to withstand that and work through it? And I'm definitely the pushing through kind of guy. I don't know, maybe I was born that way. The good old nature versus nurture question. Which are you? How would you describe yourself? And do you think you were rather born that way or more made that way by your environment and experiences? I'd love to hear. Let me know below. And see you, hopefully without a pillow and not so breathless, next time. Take care.